Today's class is on leukemias. So, what is leukemia? So, leukemias are diseases in which abnormal proliferation of hematopoietic cells is taking place in the bone marrow, causing progressively increasing infiltration in the bone marrow, and finally, it is spilling into the peripheral circulation. It accounts for 4% of deaths occurring from malignant disease. So, what is the cause of leukemias? Leukemias cause being oncogenes or cancer-causing genes, point mutation of them, or if the person is exposed to ionizing radiation or chemotherapeutic agents for some other organ cancer, he can get acute leukemias. Or if following viral carcinogenesis, exposure to human T cell lymphotrophic virus 1 also can cause leukemias. So leukemias are classified into two major categories, acute leukemias and chronic leukemias. If the defect is in the myeloid stem cells, the leukemia is classified into acute myeloid leukemia. And if the defect is primarily in the lymphoid stem cell, it is classified as acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Acute leukemia is seen in younger children less than 5 years of age, is usually lymphoblastic type, whereas if it occurs in the adults between 15 to 39 years of age, it is usually of the myeloid type. So we'll be restricting our class to the acute leukemia. So acute leukemias are classified into acute myeloid leukemia and acute lymphoid leukemia. So, what are the clinical features of acute leukemia? There will be erythroid series suppressed, so there will be anemia in the peripheral smear. Neutropenia will result in fever and malaise. The platelet precursors, megakaryocytes, are also suppressed in the marrow, so leading to a lot of bleeding tendencies, hemorrhage, bruising, and petechiae. Periosteal infiltration can cause pain in the bones and joints. Hepatosplenomegaly and lymph node enlargement can be there due to extramedullary hematopoiesis. Skin rash and gum hypertrophy can also be there in certain subtypes of AML due to infiltration of the gums. Next, coming to the laboratory findings, the peripheral smear picture. So there'll be in the RBCs anemia, normocytic normochromic anemia, platelet count will be decreased, thrombocytopenia will be there, and the total WBC count is markedly increased, more than 1 lakh. And when you do a DC of 100 cells, you'll see more than 20% blast. This is the important cutoff value to label a person that he's having leukemia. 20% minimum should be there, 20% and above. Okay, earlier the WHO said that it should be 30% and above, but now they have reduced it to 20% and above blast should be there in the peripheral smear and or bone marrow. The myeloblast, they are large cells around 10 to 18 microns diameter. They have a large round to oval nucleus with the 3 to 4 nucleoli. They have a very fine lace-like chromatin and a lot of deep blue cytoplasm. Classical myeloblasts are agranular, but they have sometimes granules. These granules, they are primary eosinophilic granules. They aggregate into rod shape or needle shape structure, and they are called as OR rods. OR rods, when you see in a myeloblast, they characteristic, and they say that this blast belongs to myeloid origin. That is the significance of OR rods. So this is a peripheral smear picture. There's background showing anemia. These are quite wide apart. These are all blasts. As you can see, large cells, irregular nucleus, lot of nucleoli as you can see, fine lace-like chromatin, bluish cytoplasm, and this is a rod-shaped structure, and this is called as OR rods. Bone marrow picture, the marrow will be very hypercellular and myeloid erythroid ratio normally 3 to 5 is to 1. That will be markedly increased because myeloblast will be more. More than 20% of myeloblasts will be there in the marrow. The rest of the precursors, that is erythroid series, megakaryocyte series and lymphoid series, are relatively suppressed in the marrow. Coming to the WHO classification of AML, AML is classified into AML with recurrent chromosomal translocations, which include AML with age 21 translocation, AML with translocation between 15 and 17th chromosome. Earlier, this was called as AML M3 type, but now it is shifted to this particular place. AML with inversion 16 and AML with 11q23 translocation. The second category being AML therapy related, if the person is taking any alkylating agents or chemotherapy drugs and then he develops AML. So those type of AML comes under this category following therapy. The third category being AML with myelodysplasia related changes. So in that we have AML with prior history of myelodysplastic syndrome or AML without prior history of myelodysplastic syndrome. The fourth category being French American British classification, that is FAB classification, AML not otherwise categorized. Under this we have M0, M1, M2, M3 is not there. As I said, M3, which was earlier under this, is shifted to the first category, that is AML with chromosomal translocation, then 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll start with the first one, AML minimally differentiated, that is M0. Here the blasts are a lot of more in number and they don't have aurora. So it's very difficult to diagnose this blast as myeloid blast. So we need immunohistochemistry to diagnose this M0 blast. Then we have AML without maturation M1. Here blasts are more than 90%, monocytes are less than 10%, and granulocytes are less than 10%. All rods are present in this blast. So this is M1 blast. There is no maturation. You're not seeing any granulocytes or monocytes here much. We are seeing predominantly more than 90% blast. Third one is AML with maturation, that is M2. Here it is associated with 821 translocation and your blast will be slightly less, that is not more than 90%, it is 20 to 89%. Granulocytes slowly begin to increase more than 10% and monocytes less than 20%. So it's called AML with maturation. So some amount of maturation you see, as you can see, you're seeing some amount of neutrophils here along with the blast. AML M3 doesn't come here, but I'm just showing you. So this has been shifted to AML with the recurrent chromosomal translocation, that is 15-17 translocation, and it was called as acute promyelocytic leukemia because its blasts are promyelocytes, and you see these are called as faggot cells, and the nucleus is convoluted. They are in the figure of 8 cells, as you can see, and there are a lot of granules, hypergranular form of promyelocytic leukemia. M4 is acute myelomonocytic leukemia. So these patients have gum infiltration. The blast will be infiltrating the gums of the oral cavity. So gum hypertrophy will be there, and they also have disseminated intravascular coagulation. Blasts are more than 20%. Granulocytes and monocytes are more than 20%. So you can see along with the myeloid blast, you're seeing a lot of monocytes which have convoluted nucleus and a lot of vacuoles. The fifth one is acute monoblastic leukemia or acute monocytic leukemia. Here myeloblasts are more than 20% and you see monoblast, and aurods are rare here. So here in M5 along with the myeloblast you are seeing the monoblast with lot of vacuolation and the nucleoli in the nucleus. So this is a monoblast as well as the myeloblast you see in acute monoblastic leukemia. M6 is acute erythroleukemia. Here you see erythroblast and around 80% you should see, and of the 80%, 30% at least should be pro-erythroblast, and myeloblast should be more than 20%, as I said, for any leukemia. And lastly, M7 is acute megakaryocytic leukemia. They have myelofibrosis of the marrow and also megakaryoblast you see, and also along with the myeloblast. So the left hand side is M6 erythroleukemia. So along with the myeloblast, you are seeing the erythroid precursors, pro erythroblast. That is M6. M7 is along with the megakaryoblast you see along with the myeloblast. So these megakaryoblasts have, as you can see, the cytoplasmic projections they have irregular. This is how we diagnose a megakaryoblast along with the myeloblast in M7. Coming to the other laboratory features, cytochemical finding, myeloblast will be staining for special stains, Sudan black B and myeloperoxidase. Erythroid and megakaryoblast, your M6 and M7 blast will be staining for PAS, periodic acid shift stain, and M4 monoblast, M5 monoblastic leukemia will be staining for non-specific esterase. So these are certain special cytochemical stain to for the diagnosis of the blast. Immunophenotyping by flow cytometry can also be done. So M0 and M1 blast will be positive for CD markers 13, 33, 34 and 117. M2 will be positive for 15, 34 and 19. M4 for CD14, M5 again CD33 and CD14, M6 for CD71 and M7 CD61. Cytogenetics, chromosomal translocations which I spoke about in the first category, 821, 1517, inversion 16, all that can be assessed by cytogenetic and karyotyping. Next, coming to acute lymphoblastic leukemia. So as I said, this is seen in younger children between 2 to 5 years of age, and here there is malignant proliferation of the lymphoid stem cells. So clinical features are almost same as that of acute myeloid leukemia, fever, pallor, bleeding tendencies. And compared to hepatosplenomegaly, these patients have more pronounced lymphadenopathy um, uh, due to extramedullary hematopoiesis. So, acute lymphoblastic leukemia is classified by French American British classification into FAB L1, L2, and L3. So, peripheral smear picture. So, there is anemia, normocytic normochromic anemia. The WBC count is increased, that is more than 1 lakh. The important cells, what you see here is a lymphoblast. Again, more than 20% lymphoblast should be there to tell leukemia. These are a little smaller than the myeloid blast, but they have a large nucleus and very less cytoplasm, scant cytoplasm. They have a very dark coarse chromatin and they don't have nucleoli. Like your myeloblast, which are 3 to 4 nucleoli. Here, if at all it is there, it is one nucleoli, otherwise very inconspicuous nucleoli. So you're seeing the lymphoblast, very dark chromatin. Here, one nucleoli, very scant cytoplasm. Platelets are absolutely reduced and background, and you're seeing the anemia here, normocytic normochromic anemia. Bone marrow, again, it is hypercellular, more than 20% lymphoblast you see instead of myeloblast here. And erythroid, myeloid, megakaryocytic series are relatively suppressed in the marrow. Coming to the L1 blast, they are common in children, has a best prognosis. The lymphoblasts are homogeneous, twice the size of the lymphocyte. They have a very, if at all, having nucleoli, they are inconspicuous, cytoplasm is scant. So this is a feature of a L1 blast. L2 blasts are seen in adults. Lymphoblasts are little different population size. So heterogeneous in size with irregular nucleus and indentation and abundant cytoplasm. So these are L1 blasts. All the features which I spoke about, the lymphoblast fits into L1 blast. They're homogeneous in size. Almost all are similar size. Scant cytoplasm, absolutely no nucleoli or very and dark chromatin. L2 blast is a heterogeneous population. As you can see, some are small, some are big, and you can see some amount of cytoplasm, some amount of nuclear indentations. These are L2 blasts. L3 blasts are called as Burkitt's type of blast. Now this has been shifted to your lymphoma, Burkitt's type of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It is no more a leukemia here, and it is seen both in adults and children. Lymphoblasts are again homogeneous, round to oval nucleus they have, and what is prominent is here these blasts have a lot of vacuolation containing lipid. So these can be stained with the lipid stain, that is oil red O, which will stain positive the lipid vacuoles. Coming to cytochemical stains, as I said, the myeloblast was positive for myeloperoxidase and Sudan black, whereas lymphoblasts are negative for myeloperoxidase and Sudan black, whereas lymphoblasts are positive for PAS stain. Block positivity of the lymphoblast can be seen using a pyridic acid shift stain, whereas your myeloid blasts are negative for PAS. Immunophenotyping or IHC can be done to differentiate B lymphoblast from T lymphoblast. B lymphoblast stain positive for CD markers 19, 20, 22, whereas T lymphoblasts are positive for CD 2, 3, 5, and 7. So this is a L3 blast. So you can see what is prominent here, the quite large cells and cytoplasmic lipid containing vacuoles, which can be stained by lipid stain, that is oil red O. Okay, this is a L3 blast. So that's all. So the acute leukemia is classified into acute myeloid leukemia and acute lymphoid leukemia, and similarly chronic leukemia is also classified into chronic myeloid and chronic lymphoid leukemia. Thank you.